Hey, welcome back to the course. Now, in this lecture, we're going to talk about the Rehab Estimator tab. Now, this is a tab that you're going to put in the estimates for any and all the repairs that you think a flip investor is going to have to make. So basically, all of the renovations that they're going to have to make, right? Now, how you use this worksheet is this is organized in such a way where there are enough categories to pretty much cover any property you're looking at, any residential property that you're going to be looking at, where you can properly account for the costs in the correct cell. So anything in yellow, you see these yellow highlighted cells, that's where you actually type in the costs. All right. So these are for specific rooms that you may have. And then these are for specific areas, the common areas or exteriors, non rooms in the actual property itself. Okay, so like kitchen and any other kind of miscellaneous things. And if for whatever reason you don't see the thing that you need in any of these known categories, you can just put them in these other ones, right? So if there's something that's in the exterior that is not captured here, then just go to the other and just put it in. Maybe there's a certain thing that needs to be fixed outside for its curb appeal, and you think it's going to cost $800. Well, you just put the $800 there, and then this total will update. Okay, so basically, run through your checklist for the property. Now, you should do this when you have done a pretty thorough walkthrough for the property, making a note of things. You might want to just print this out so you can just do it as you walk through it. And put everything that you can see and think of in there. And this really will depend on your ability to get an accurate estimate, because if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how to get the rehab estimates, then you're going to be putting in numbers that aren't going to be reflective, right? So I'm going to show you how to use this first, and then we'll talk about a few things that you can use, or a few things to remember that's going to help you come up with more accurate rehab estimates. All right. So here, I have some dummy numbers in here ready so you can get an idea. So like this cell means, hey, I'm working on some floor stuff and there needs to be some floor repairs for the first bedroom. There needs to be some floor work in the dining room. So that's what it means here. That's how you read these cells. All right. So here means there's some floor work in the garage. Okay. And you can put whatever you want in there. So when you use this, obviously put 0 for all of these, just zero them out. And, and then, you just type in 0 like that, and it would be updated. Okay. So I'm going to leave these in here because these are numbers for an example that we're going to do. Now, one last thing about this particular worksheet is there is a padding here. Okay. So here, it gives you the sum totals, right? So this totals up everything in these rooms, and then this one gives you the total from everything over here, the subtotal for these things on the left side here. And then we have an estimate of 24,300. Now what this does is it gives you a little bit of padding. So you want to pad it by, maybe 10 or 15% if you want, just to be on the safe side. So, to make sure that you don't underestimate what kind of rehab is needed, right? So if you put 15%, then it automatically adds up to the higher rehab estimate. Okay. Typically, you want to put in at least about 10%. I wouldn't go higher than 20. So anywhere from 10 to 20 is probably reasonable. If you're using too much padding, it means you're not doing your homework and getting in good enough estimates. All right. So that's how you use this rehab sheet to calculate the rehab estimate. All right, so next up, what are some ways to help you get better estimates, especially if you have no construction background, right? Well, the best way, and one of the first ways, it does take a little bit longer, is to understand and learn from your customers. Who are your customers going to be? Well, they are going to be the rehabbers in that market. They're the rehabbers that you're trying to sell your wholesaling deals to, right? So get to know them, join local rehab groups, local fix and flip, meetup groups and talk to people who are doing rehab in your market and get an understanding of how they're looking at things, how much they're spending on the different kinds of rehab or repairs, and getting a range for what is a reasonable cost, right? If you just interview a few people, you're going to get a pretty good idea of what these costs are going to be in that market. So that's one great way to do that. Now, the other thing that's going to help you make better estimates is you want to pretty much think like the rehabber, right? Learn how a rehabber is going to look at all the steps and the costs, and maybe get a spreadsheet from them. So instead of just talking to those investors, get their calculators, right? Understand and maybe shadow one of them. Just say, hey, I'm in the market. I'm going to be looking at wholesaling. I'm doing a lot of deals, but I really want to understand how you go about estimating your rehab costs. I was wondering, on your next deal, can I just come shadow you? And as you walk through it, let me see how you go about thinking through the costs and the items. Right. So it's a really great way to learn. And the other way you're going to really learn from getting better at estimating your rehab is going to be when you start doing deals. Let me tell you, once you start doing deals and you put it in the market, if your assumptions are off, you're going to know, because the bids are going to come in way lower than you expected, and they're going to say, hey, you know what? You think I'm going to be spending 20,000 in repairs? No, this thing's going to take at least 30,000 in repairs. And you're like, whoa, okay, I forgot about this. I forgot about that. I need to update this, or I underestimated that, right? Now, if you are overestimating rehab estimates, you're going to get a lot of bidders, and they're all going to want to buy it from you. And you're going to find out that they are maybe not making some of the repairs that you think they would. So you overestimate the rehab costs, and then you end up maybe underpricing your asset to your potential buyers, right? So once you're in the market and doing deals, you're going to be learning really quick with people's feedback. All right, so in the next lecture, we're going to talk about the ARV and how do you look at comps to get the appropriate ARV that you're going to be able to use in your MAO calculations.